So thank you, Sam. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Once again, I am Matt of DOST-TAPI, and I'll be introducing our Technopreneurship programs for DOST-TAPI's side naman. So these are our portfolio of programs that help researchers, students, and enterprises, including startups, fine-tune their technologies, develop a market-ready product or service, and prepare their businesses to be competitive. So just a quick intro of who DOST-TAPI is. We are one of the many agencies under the Department of Science and Technology providing the department's crucial S&T services. And DOST-TAPI is primarily responsible for promoting the commercialization of local technologies by providing grants and soft loans for new and emerging projects. We've been running a campaign to promote our programs that encourage technopreneurship. So we broadly characterize technopreneurship as the harnessing of technology as a foundation for a business idea. And we call this campaign Tatak Pinoypreneur. So when you see this logo in any of our marketing collaterals, that means it's one of DOST-TAPI's technopreneurship programs we are promoting. And so let me introduce our technopreneurship programs. We have a total of 7 programs that cover pre-commercialization, enterprise building, and commercialization projects. So 2 of these are grants, TECHNiCOM and YET, and 5 are soft loan programs for MSMEs. So let's get right into the first program. TECHNiCOM is a multi-million grant that funds pre-commercialization activities. And so when we talk about pre-com, this includes prototyping, where you fabricate semi-commercial units or formats of your product or process, pilot scale testing, tech validation, market testing, business model validation, and other pre-investment activities. And we collectively call these pre-com activities. So TECHNiCOM caters to academes, local government research and development institutes, as well as startups. And for TECHNiCOM, what we really want to support are technologies that are at least at a technology readiness level of 4. So there is at least a crude prototype of the technology. So this grant program is tech-based. The next program is another grant opportunity called YET, or Youth Empowerment Through Technopreneurship. So this program supports income-generating projects among the youth, and it offers grants to academic institutions to cover research activities for college students. But it also offers grants to young professionals, those who graduated from a YET-assisted school and transitioned to creating a startup business out of their college projects. And so for young professionals, the cap of the grant is $350,000 per project. All right, so these are some of the funded expenses under the YET program. So for young professionals, the grant covers more or less raw materials, packaging and labeling expenses, as well as production tools and equipment. All right, so focusing on young professionals, since we are all startups here, for young professionals, aside from being college graduates, they should have also established a sole proprietorship business. And as a college graduate, young professionals previously completed a YET project, or they previously they are a part of the incubation facilities of a technology business incubator in a YET assisted school. And so these are some of the schools assisted by YET as a sort of reference to which early businesses can apply for YET under the young professional category. All right, so we also have programs assisting MSMEs in their commercialization activities. And unlike TECHNiCOM and YET, these are soft loans, and these are for MSMEs and startups who are already commercializing, as the program suggests. So the business is beyond ideation and pre-commercialization. The financial assistance here have to be repaid to DOST-TAPI, but at 0% interest and require zero collateral. So start and tech-based projects, VFest, adoption of DOST techs, they mainly provide assistance on equipment purchase, while DO financing and LIGTAS-COVID-19 are soft loans for raw material purchase. So all of our commercialization programs are open to MSMEs, be it corporations, sole proprietors, partnerships, or even cooperatives. So the first of these is our Startup and Tech-Based Projects program, which helps businesses using innovative products or processes improve their viability and competitiveness by lending up to 2 million for the purchase or fabrication of equipment. So this has to be repaid for a maximum of 3 years. There's also a 6-month grace period to allow businesses to complete the purchase or fabrication of their required equipment before starting to pay off the amortization. MSMEs applying for this program must be less than 5 years in existence. And one of the important considerations for enterprises applying is that they should be utilizing new or emerging technology, as evidenced by the registered IP, intellectual property, that they are maintaining and using, or the nature of the technologies that they are using for their business. So when we say new technologies, we mean novel and fast-growing technologies, and emerging technologies mean that there is a continued development of an existing technology to introduce improvements or to demonstrate usefulness of the existing technology. So as an IP-based company, these enterprises should ideally have registered invention patents, utility models, or industrial designs used in their business. These documents would signify the novelty of the technologies they are using, because novelty is one of the criteria used in evaluating these IPs. Or as a tech-based company planning to undertake a tech-based commercialization project, the technologies they are using are included in what we call the whitelist of technologies considered as emerging. So these should be aligned with the technologies identified by the DOST sectoral councils, the compendium of technologies they have identified, and the roadmaps they have formulated. So basically, the technology used by the startup should fall into the categories or clusters identified in any of these lists. Next is VFEST. This is open to MSMEs investing in green technologies to help them comply with environmental regulations and help them lower their electricity costs and reduce waste and pollution. This is perfect, for example, for MSMEs looking to purchase wastewater treatment equipment to comply with regulatory bodies, or businesses investing in solar panels to lower their energy consumption costs. The need for green technology can be different for each business, but in most cases, it will help them comply with regulations relating to the environment. And so this is really important, since businesses can be asked to close down if they are not compliant to these regulations. And so VFEST is here for that. VFEST provides financial assistance of up to 2.5 million pesos for the purchase of equipment. And this has to be refunded for 3 years as well. We also have a program for MSMEs interested in obtaining licenses for the use of DOST-generated technology. So at DOST, we have 7 agencies that specialize in doing research and development activities to produce technologies for transfer to the private sector. These are the DOST RDIs, and this program, adoption of DOST techs, specifically incentivizes MSMEs adopting DOST-generated technologies. So just like the other 2 previous programs, this provides financial capital to purchase equipment, but it also covers the costs for local and international standards filing. So think of FDA registrations or ISO certifications. And this is our highest commercialization program offering at 5 million pesos max, to be repaid for a maximum of 3 years. Also, for MSMEs wanting to apply for international standards, it's important to show proof of market potential abroad, and that can be freedom to operate searches, which reveal whether your technology potentially infringes on a technology in a chosen foreign territory, PCT applications, or if foreign customers have signified intent in purchasing your product or service. So for this program, enterprises applying should have a valid technology licensing agreement or TLA with a DOST RDI and should remain valid within the project term. And if you want to know more about the DOST RDI technologies ready for commercialization, we have a publication developed that lists these technologies. So you may check this link out later. You may also contact the DOST RDI to get more details. So they have technical services or business development units in these RDIs that will be able to apprise you how to proceed with licensing, should you be interested. So those are the 3 commercialization programs that DOST-TAPI has, providing assistance in purchasing equipment. PO Financing is our commercialization program, providing MSMEs assistance in purchasing raw materials to meet client orders. And PO Financing has 2 funding strata. So Cycle 1 funds allows access to up to 1 million pesos, and Cycle 2 provides access up to 2.5 million in funds. This has to be refunded for a maximum of 3 months. So for raw material purchase, our program, the refund period is much shorter. And this is open to enterprises who are previous DOST beneficiaries, either through the Setup program, which is offered by DOST regional offices, or other funding mechanisms of DOST-TAPI or DOST in general. If you've also sought a license for an RDI technology, you'd also be eligible for this program. So lastly, we have the LIGTAS-COVID-19, which is similar to PO financing in that it covers raw material purchase. So this program specifically caters to MSMEs or enterprises producing goods that fight the spread of COVID-19. And LIGTAS-COVID-19 offers up to 1 million pesos in financial assistance to be refunded for a maximum of 1 year. So it's a bit longer than PO financing. It is also available to enterprises who are previous DOST beneficiaries or those that have adopted DOST RDI technologies. Right, so those are our 5 commercialization programs. And just to give an overview of the requirements, of course, since we are a proposal-based program, a complete project proposal is a primary requirement, as well as business and financial documents. So your business registrations, your financial statements, commercialization needs documents really just mean anything that would prove your request for assistance. So if you need to purchase an equipment, quotations from equipment suppliers are a requirement. And for PO financing, you need to be able to show the purchase orders or sales contracts you receive from your clients. Intellectual property documents might also be required, especially if applying for startup and tech-based projects or adoption of DOST techs. And for PO financing and LIGTAS-COVID-19, an endorsement from the DOST regional office is required, especially for those with an ongoing setup project. Okay, so where can you learn more about the programs I've discussed? You can follow us on Facebook. We post regular updates and announcements on there. You can also check out our website. We have a call for proposals page, and you can find the full details of the programs open for application. Before I end, I'd like to call on the startups here to scale up and expand your businesses. So our COM programs are open, and we have a deadline. It's on August 15, and this is actually our second call. So if you're ready, make sure to submit a proposal well before the deadline. Applications for TECHNiCOM is currently closed. So TECHNiCOM is our grant program available to startups, but as I mentioned earlier, we will be reopening it soon. So follow us on Facebook for any announcements. There might also be some of you here who might not yet be eligible for some of DOST-TAPI's programs. Nevertheless, please help us spread these funding opportunities, and who knows, we might be able to help them in their technopreneurship programs, technopreneurship journey. So thank you. Over to you, Sam.